Curiosity is the most powerful thing you own. If you set your goals ridiculously high and it's a failure, you will fail above everyone else's success. A woman's heart is an ocean of deep secrets. Hope is not a strategy. Luck is not a factor. Fear is not an option. People call me a perfectionist, but I'm not. I'm a rightist. I do something until it's right, and then I move on to the next thing. When the ship docks, I'm getting off with you. This is crazy. I know it doesn't make any sense, that's why I trust it. I'm king of the world. Failure is an option, fear is not. Imagination is a force that can actually manifest a reality. Don't put limitations on yourself. Others will do that for you. I tend to like strong female characters. It just interests me dramatically. A strong male character isn't interesting because it has been done and it's so cliched. A weak male character is interesting, somebody else hasn't done it 100 times. Pick up a camera. Shoot something. No matter how small, no matter how cheesy, no matter whether your friends and your sister star in it. Put your name on it as director. Now you're a director. Everything after that you're just negotiating your budget. Curiosity is the most powerful thing you own. Imagination is a force that can actually manifest a reality. It can't be bargained with, it can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity, or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you're dead. I love it when I have a nightmare. To me that means I got my money's worth out of that 8 hours. I came across time for you, Sarah. I love you. I always have. Kyle Reese in the Terminator. I like the evening in India, the one magic moment when the sun balances on the rim of the world, and the hush descends, and 10,000 civil servants drift homeward on a river of bicycles. Nature's imagination is so boundless compared to our own meager human imagination. Logan Cale, if I just had my ass handed to me by a size 3, I'd be inclined to mind my own business. There's no fate but what we make for ourselves. Every time you dive, you hope you'll see something new, some new species. Sometimes the ocean gives you a gift, sometimes it doesn't. Hope is not a strategy. Luck is not a factor. Fear is not an option. The nation that leads in renewable energy will be the nation that leads the world. The magic doesn't come from within the director's mind, it comes from within the hearts of the actors. But failure has to be an option in art and in exploration, because it's a leap of faith. And no important endeavor that required innovation was done without risk. You have to be willing to take those risks. It's about human imagination and curiosity. What's out there? What's in the great beyond? What exists at levels we can't see with our 5 senses? Here's my philosophy in life: if there's a fire, you put it out. If there's a flood, you fill sandbags and you build a dike. You roll up your sleeves and you get to work. A director's job is to make something happen, and it doesn't happen by itself. So you wheedle, you cajole, you flatter people, you tell them what needs to be done. And if you don't bring a passion and an intensity to it, you shouldn't be doing it. The universe is like a giant bank vault lock, where the tumblers are constantly moving, and once in a while the tumblers line up and you have to listen for the click. So you must be prepared in that moment to step through the door. I guess Titanic because it made the most money. No, I'm kidding. I don't really have a favorite. Maybe Terminator, because that was the film that was the first one back when I was essentially a truck driver. I dreamed I was a soldier who could bring peace. Sooner or later, though, you always have to wake up. When the ship docks, I'm getting off with you. This is crazy. I know it doesn't make any sense, that's why I trust it. Writing a screenplay, for me, is like juggling. It's like, how many balls can you get in the air at once? All those ideas have to float out there to a certain point, and then they'll crystallize into a pattern. I do an awful lot of scuba diving. I love to be on the ocean, under the ocean. I live next to the ocean. If you wait until the right time to have a child, you'll die childless, and I think filmmaking is very much the same thing. You just have to take the plunge and just start shooting something even if it's bad. When you have the feeling that anything's possible, sometimes you wind up acting on it. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to study the ocean before we destroy it. So much of literary sci-fi is about creating worlds that are rich and detailed and make sense at a social level. We'll create a world for people and then later present a narrative in that world. I don't look at scripts. I just write them. If you wanted to move through a virtual reality, it's called a video game. It's been around forever. You know, in the filmmaking business no one ever gives you anything. It was long ago in my life as a simple reporter that I decided that facts must never get in the way of truth. You can't be an environmentalist, you can't be an ocean steward without truly walking the walk, and you can't walk the walk in the world of the future, the world ahead of us, the world of our children, not eating a plant-based diet. To convince people to back your idea, you've got to sell it to yourself and know when it's the moment. Sometimes that means waiting. It's like surfing. You don't create energy, you just harvest energy already out there. Nature's not our enemy, it's our sustenance, and we need it, and we need nature healthy for us to be healthy and to survive long term. You can't really call yourself an environmentalist if you're still consuming animals. You just can't. Don't get seduced by your own stuff. Work hard to keep a blank slate state of mind each time you watch your film. Every time you dive, you hope you'll see something new, some new species. Sometimes the ocean gives you a gift, sometimes it doesn't. God wears white flannels. If it was up to the studio, everything would be shot with a camcorder. If you wait until the right time to have a child, you'll die childless, and I think filmmaking is very much the same thing. You just have to take the plunge and just start shooting something even if it's bad. Nature's imagination is so boundless compared to our own meager human imagination. People call me a perfectionist, but I'm not. I'm a rightist. I do something until it's right, and then I move on to the next thing. Curiosity is the most powerful thing you own. Hope is not a strategy. Luck is not a factor. Fear is not an option. There are many talented people who haven't fulfilled their dreams because they overthought it, or they were too cautious, and were unwilling to make the leap of faith. It took me a long time to realize that you have to have a bit of an inner language with actors. You have to give them something that they can act with. It'll be all of our efforts together. It won't ever be exactly the way I imagined it. And that is, I think, an important lesson as well, is that in any group enterprise it's going to be the sum total of the group. You have to not listen to the naysayers because there will be many and often they'll be much more qualified than you and cause you to sort of doubt yourself. I certainly didn't think of myself as gifted. The standards for being gifted in my environment were if you were good in Little League or if you were good in football. I love short trips to New York. To me it is the finest 3-day town on earth. Imagination is a force that can actually manifest a reality. Don't put limitations on yourself. Others will do that for you. I mean, you have to be able. You have to have made the commitment within yourself to do whatever it takes to get the job done and to try to inspire other people to do it. Because obviously the first rule is you can't do it by yourself. Your only competitors are your past achievements.